Hello everyone, welcome back to MixBuzz TV, mixing and mastering tutorials on YouTube. I've got so many requests about the effects on the mix that I used for the previous tutorials that I decided to do an in-depth video on this. This wasn't really an actual mix, it was just a 20-minute mix that I made on headphones for the tutorials, to have, different materials to test plugins and to show you tricks. But again, I got so many questions about the effects that I used on this vocal that I thought was a good idea to go in details on what did I do for this vocal. So let's get to it. This is the whole mix.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes,
this is the verse, and this is the chorus. Okay, so first thing, let's take a look at the inserts on the lead vocals channel itself. There are no effects, just a low cut filter here. And then another EQ just for the filters, in this case low pass and high pass too. Then we have a multi-band compressor, and I used only 2 bands. Let's see real quick what it does.
I stand outside in the rain.
Okay, so it takes down
I'll take the physical pain.
This kind of harsh area here.
At the end of the day.
And it controls the lows. Okay, pretty simple. And then I have my Oxford dynamic.
I stand outside in the rain.
Compressing something around 6 dB.
The physical pain.
So no actual effects, just a little bit of EQ and a little bit of compression. So let's hear just the vocal with the effects.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
Without.
I will give you this life that I'm in.
And with.
If you show me the other side.
And now there's the chorus, and as you can see, these channels
I stand outside in the rain.
Are automated.
I'll take the physical pain.
To mute and unmute.
At the end of the day.
So I have an FX setup for the verse and a different one for the chorus. So let's start with the verse and see what we have. We have a slap delay, a delay verse, and an overall reverb. Now this reverb is the only effects that is shared between the chorus and the verse. So this one, it remains open the whole time. Then we have this shift channel here and the delay chorus, which right now are muted because we are in the verse. But if I select the chorus, you see the delay chorus is unmuted. So the shift channel and the delay verse is muted instead. Also, the slap delay is open all the time, not only the overall reverb. So let's take a look at the routing first. The lead vocals dry is sent to 2 buses. The first one is Vox Effects, and slap delay, delay verse, delay chorus, and shift channel, these 4 effects, all share the same input, Vox Effects. Then the vocals is sent also to this other bus, Vox Room, which is this MTS room down here, the overall reverb. Both of them are pre-fader, and the reason because this MTS room has a different input is because I'm also sending the 4 effects here to my overall reverb. As you can see here, all of them pre-fader are sent to my MTS room. So MTS room, the overall reverb, it gets the dry vocals and also the 4 effects. Okay, let's start with the slap delay and let's see what's on this channel. The first thing is EQ and compression. We have a low cut at around 130, then a couple of dB boost in shelf mode at 8K, a deep cut of about 9 dB at 500, and another cut of 60B shelf mode at 60 Hz. And then we have some compression going on. So the vocals is EQ'd and compressed before hitting the slap delay. Let's hear the vocal just with this process. No delay.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare.
Okay, if we bypass it,
Behind those eyes, what else you got in
it
there?
would
'Cause of
be
you.
the same exact sound as the lead vocal.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare.
So very compressed.
Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause of you.
Okay.
Make
Thin by itself, and bandwidth is limited. And the next in line is the Mod Delay 3 stock delay from Pro Tools. And you can see my settings for this. The left channel and the right channel are about 40 milliseconds apart from each other, so you get the stereo effect. And let's see how it sounds.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else
Okay.
you got in there? 'Cause of you.
Let's hear it with the vocal.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause
As you can hear, the stereo effects is there, but it's not really making the vocals wider or give it space so much yet, because it's very dark, and it actually makes it a little claustrophobic with this one on.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare.
Okay, so what did I do is add another EQ after the mod delay, and it's just a filter. Okay, 12 dB slope, and a cut is around 300, so I'm removing pretty much everything below that frequency, and it makes a big change.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause of you. Make me
Okay.
feel like I should learn to stop time.
Let's hear it with the vocal.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause of you.
Without.
Make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
Okay, I like very short stereo delays on vocals because, again, they give you space and depth, keeping the vocals up front without getting mushy. So this slap delay is never turned off, it's never muted, is my foundation ambience for the vocal, okay? Next effects is the delay verse. Let's hear it.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause of you. Make me feel like I should learn to stop.
Let's hear just the effect.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause of you.
Let's hear it with the slap.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause of you.
This is pretty cool because these two delay, again, I have no tails from reverbs, and yet I am able to create different layers of space, of ambience. I have the vocals dry up front, then the slap delay, which is close to the vocal but spread out, and then I have this delay verse, which is far away, okay? And actually has a little bit of verb on it. Let's see the inserts. The first one is the same. I copied the same exact channel from the slap delay. Then I have the same mod delay, and you can see my settings. The time of the repeat are just longer than the previous one. The LPF is the same, it's just less feedback. And as you can see, I have different feedback for the left and for the right. This is no rule, this is just a matter of taste. I have a little bit of modulation, which I didn't have on the slap delay. And then I have this vintage filter here. Actually, let's start listening just the delay.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause you
like we heard before, is darker right now. And let's see what the vintage filter does.
you make it hard, I wanna stop and stare.
Okay, nothing major.
Behind those eyes, what else you got in
Mostly
there?
I used it for the cutoff and the fat,
Feel like I should learn to stop time.
because I wanted a little bit of dirt in this delay, okay? And then we have the PSP Springbox, which I love, is my favorite spring reverb plugin. I'm not going to describe in detail every single knob and how I set it, because you can see it from the screen. There's no reason to, but the concept is what matters for me. So this delay got a filtered vocals on top, like the slap delay, and a compressed vocal. And then after it, the delay got a little bit of dirt with the vintage filter. And now what I want is the delay not to be in the same place as the slap delay. Okay, I want it a little farther back. And in order to do so, I use the spring verb. Let's hear it.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare.
Okay, without.
Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
Okay, this makes a huge difference because of the spread. It puts the repeats further back. Let's listen it again, with and without.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
So after that, we have another EQ. And this is just another high-pass filter, 18 dBs slope, and the cut frequency is a 450. Let's hear without and with.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got
Okay.
in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
Reason is pretty simple. Bass frequency content makes our brain perceive in an element closer. So if you want to put the delay even further away, we did it already with the spring verb, you cut the lows, and actually you could cut the highs too, but I wanted a little sparkle. That's why I used the spring verb, because it has this metal-ish kind of sound that I like for this vocal. And then the last one, it's just another SSL channel, and as you can see, I'm driving it in the red. Reason is pretty simple. I wanted distortion. I don't know if you guys know it, but the SSL channel by Waves actually model distortion if you run the output in the red. Otherwise, it doesn't. So that's with and without.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare.
Okay?
Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause you
So of course we have 12 dBs of gain because I turned the fader all the way up. But the reason because I used the SSL instead of a simple trim plugin is because I wanted the distortion that you get when you run this plugin in the red. Okay? So let's hear the two effects together.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there?
With the vocal.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause you
Okay, so this vocal has space and I wanted to fill it somehow, and I wanted different layers of proximity, if you wanna call it that way. The slap delay being closer, the delay verse being further away. Then we have the MTS room, which is the other effect that is open for the verse and the chorus, actually the whole song. So let's hear that.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause
Okay.
you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
So remember, this effect is not only getting the dry lead vocals, but it's also getting the slap delay pre-fader and the delay verse. Okay? So what you're hearing is 3 channels, the dry lead vocals, the slap delay, and delay verse fed into this MTS room. Okay, so let's take a look at the insert on this one. SSL channel, again, just for the EQ, and actually just for a low cut at around 200. And then we have a stock reverb. You can see the setting, and it sounds like this without what's after it.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare.
Okay?
Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause
Pretty simple. After that, we have an API 550 BEQ. Let's hear how it sounds.
you make it hard, I wanna stop and stare.
Makes it a little brighter
Behind those eyes, what else you got in
without.
there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
It sounds a lot brighter, but it's not because I boosted that much. It's just a couple of dB here, and it's not even in shelf mode, but it's because I cut all this rubbish here at 240 and down there the sub frequency, which we don't need on a reverb. After that, we have the Oxford Dynamics, and you can watch the other video that I have on reverbs and how to use dynamics to make them more interesting. I'll link the video here and in the info box down below. So this one is actually a compressor which is triggered by the dry vocal. Okay? So it's sidechained to the dry vocal. What it does is it compresses the reverb when the vocals is singing, and it releases it in between spaces when the vocals stop singing. So let's take a listen to it.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare.
Okay?
Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
Okay? This way, not only your reverb is more interesting because it moves dynamically, but you can keep the volume, the level of the verb a little louder without being too mushy, because again, when the vocal is singing, the compressor ducks the level. So let's hear these 3 effects, which are our verse effects, all together.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare. Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
Just a slap.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare.
Delay verse.
Behind those eyes, what else you got in there? 'Cause you
Verb.
make me feel like I should learn to stop time.